Better offer. Let's go, people. Let's go. Welcome back to another episode of Straight Facts. Today we are brought to you by our friends at Fan Team, where you can enter for free the second chance fantasy football season with a chance to win your share of £100,000. All the links are in our description below and pinned into the live comment section, along with my personal mini league I set up for you today for this weekend, where you might be able to win £100, and that's free to enter as well. So go check that out after the game. We'll give you a bit more detail on it later. I'm, of course, joined by the one and only Lee Gunner, back out of the mud after this weekend, after Arsenal's resurgence. How you doing, mate? How you doing?
Yeah, everything in life's cool, apart from the football. Yeah, Algeria just drew, so I'm fuming. They just drew with Sierra Leone. Arsenal got knocked out the FA Cup for the second year running in early stages. And yeah, it's a big week for Arsenal now. And we're 2 games away from everyone screaming Arteta out again, aren't we?
we very much could be. Sorry, one quick thing here. Moderators, when people are writing things like Arsenal are shit or Man United are crap, do not block or delete those messages. It's legit. I respect all my moderators, but it's racism or sexism only. Calling me a name, saying Lee's this. You do not delete those messages, please. It's just people bantering around. We can take that here. We are grown-ups. Please do not start timing people out for stuff. If they say your football club is rubbish, if they say you're an idiot, ignore it. Leave it in there, please. Literally block the nasty stuff like that. Like, otherwise, it just becomes silly. So please stop doing it. Otherwise, we'll remove all moderators again. Last time I checked, I didn't check for months. I had a moderator that blocked over 4,500 people from making comments on live videos over like a 3-month period. So yeah, none of that, please. Let's make sure, because that's just not what we want. Do you know what I mean? Stop. I would say as a moderator as well, if someone's bothering you, just don't reply back to them and let them watch the show. That's what I would say. But where to start today? We could start with Arsenal. We could, but I don't know if we should. I think
get it over and done with. Start with Arsenal. Let's get it out of the way, Tel. Let's get it out of the way.
Well,
because then I can be more positive about everything else.
I don't know. We're talking Rashford later, so I don't know if you will be. But to be honest, like I don't know where to start with this. Really, like you were so bad. You were so bad at the weekend against Forest, and of course you lost. You done brilliantly well in the previous game against Man City, but lost the game. You performed well, but you lost. You then performed badly and you lost. You're going into games now against Liverpool that have got more of their team back, and you are going into the North London derby this weekend on the potentially on the back of 2 defeats, maybe even a third. Does it feel like, I don't know, reality's about, from your point of view, does it feel like reality might be about to bite again with some Arsenal fans?
It's a good question. Yeah, but then we'll probably go and slap Burnley and they'll be back in the room again. So, Terry, I say this all the time. People say I'm negative. People say I'm toxic. I've got an agenda. Agenda. That word needs to be banned on the internet, I swear. 10 straight unbeaten games. We were 7th. We then lose to Man United. We then lose in stoppage time to Everton. That was the straw that broke the camel's back, apparently, according to a lot of our fans. We then go on a 5-game win streak against teams that we should be slapping. And everyone gets gassed again. They forget that we're not that great under this manager. And then we go and lose to Man City and everyone's declaring their undying love for him. Oh, I'm so proud. What, proud of a loss? Proud of a loss. Wake up.
You played well. You played well, though, in that game.
Doesn't matter. What, in 20 years' time, when you're sitting down, you're not going to be sitting there talking about how proud you was that we lost the game. You're not even going to mention the game. Yeah, at the end of the day, Terry, we lost the game. We were good for 57 minutes. And then lo and behold, Granit Xhaka did what he does best, totally throw a game. He's got history. Last time we were in the Champions League, he was in midfield when we got done 5-1 twice by Bayern Munich. And our fans are getting giddy because they want Champions League. Why? What's going to change this time with him in midfield? So for that reason, no, I wasn't proud. It was a good performance for 57 minutes. And then Arsenal happened because of Granit Xhaka. People have let Gabriel kind of get away with one, but he's got previous as well. He's done it against Southampton. He's done it against Man United, but got away without a second yellow against you lot when Greenwood nutmegged him. And he was already on a yellow for wiping out Rashford on the halfway line. It's just stupid mistakes, different sets of players, different managers, same results. You know, we've gone through this cycle under Arsene Wenger of beating all the crap and losing against the best. And that ain't changed. You know, we've got previous under Arsene Wenger getting knocked out to Nottingham Forest. Again, that ain't changed. You know, and it's different sets of players. Now all I keep hearing, and I just want to say this as well, right? We are now going into a game against Liverpool at Anfield, a place that we notoriously don't tend to win. We played them in the League Cup before. We drew 5-5 and they'd done us on pens, right? 6-5, I think it was. They've got in midfield Fabinho available, Henderson available, Oxlade-Chamberlain available. I think Thiago's injured. But our midfield is going to get ploughed through. Simple as that. Because we ain't got Thomas Partey there. Granit Xhaka's out. Not that I want him in there anyway. Sambi Lokonga just ain't ready. Then we got Odegaard, Gibraltar. Well, he found his level at the weekend, didn't he? Got nutmegged by a right back on loan from Middlesbrough. Yeah, well done. Then we've got Charlie Patino, who our fans have been gassing up as the second coming of Cesc Fabregas because of all the journalists that have been peddling out the PR on the kid. The kid needs a loan. If he's going to be that great, send him on loan. Yeah, we did it with Smith Rowe, and now look how good he is. So I look at it and I think we did 10 unbeaten. We were 7th. We then lost a couple of games. It was meltdown, get him out. We then won 5 in a row against crap, and the performances were a lot better. Yeah, and it was, oh, yes, amazing. We got a chance against City. We then lost to City. We got embarrassed by Nottingham Forest. Now we lose against Liverpool on Thursday by a couple of goals. That's curtains. And if we lose to Tottenham, then they're above us with 2 in hand. Man United could catch us up and overtake us if they win their game. Yeah, and West Ham could do likewise. All of a sudden, we've gone from 4th to 7th, and we're out of both cups.
Look, I look
and
at
this
it.
is why I don't get carried away on irrelevant runs of form, Terry. That
Look,
are irrelevant.
and that part, I agree with you on in terms of getting carried away. And you know, obviously, Jess and I do the other kind of half of Straight Facts on a Wednesday. And you know, Jess, it's interesting because Jess is more positive than you about Arteta and what's happened. However, at the same time, she still gets a lot of crap. You know, she gets called. Do you know what they've been calling her recently? They've been calling her. What is it? Leanne Gunner. They're calling her Leanne Gunner because she won't go the full hog and say we are getting top 4. We are absolutely getting it. It's a shoo-in. It's almost. I feel like sometimes, and look, I've said this to you on the show before, sometimes I don't feel like you give enough credit for the progression and the stepping stones.
I don't see the progression, Terry. That's why.
And that's your, you know, that's your prerogative and that's your view on that. I think there have been step changes. I do think, though, with Arsenal, there has to be an element of just realization. Don't put too much pressure and expectation upon these players because you've got Liverpool on Thursday, which is conceivably a game you could lose at Anfield. They very rarely lose there. I think, and we know they're going to try and play the strongest team possible because of the fact that they applied for the game to be postponed. If they did not care, they'd have played that game. They could beat you. Spurs are an interesting bunch right now, and we'll get into more detail later, but they don't look as bad as Man United look. But equally at the same time, there is almost this element of in the Prem, they get results. You could lose these 2 games on the bounce. If Spurs do win their games in hand, that will put you 7 points behind top 4. You could be out of the League Cup. You're out of the FA Cup. I'm not suggesting that progression hasn't happened, but your Arsenal Football Club, silverware is what it's all about. And I just feel like there's a bit of a crossroads right now. And I think some people have just got to humble themselves a little bit and respect the fact that it could fall apart. And a lot of Arsenal fans are like that. A lot of gooners that come on the terrace are like that. There are just some that I still think Spurs drew a game and Man United lost to Wolves, and it was sort of like, that's it, it's done, it's nailed in. And I just think to myself, I don't understand what you're watching. You saw it the weekend, you scratched beneath Arsenal's surface of 2 or 3 players, and you saw the level, and it's almost, you are progressing in my view. But for me, it's just, you're not Man City. You're not there yet. Like, calm down a little bit. That's all I would say to a lot of people, you know?
The thing is, Terry, Arsenal fans love to get gassed and they never learn. They've done it for 15 years. And I don't see any progression. And I'll tell you why. He's done £250 million. And look at the state of that squad. Under a proper manager, we'd still get top 4. Even under Arsene Wenger, we would get top 4 with that squad. Yeah, this manager ain't getting top 4. Yeah, I'll say it now. He ain't getting top 4. And the reason I don't see any...
Okay, go on. I was going to ask you that question.
The reason I don't see any progression, the cup competition that he won, the FA Cup, 2 seasons later, he's knocked us out to Southampton, where he threw the game and played a reserve team away because we had him at home in the league 3 days later. And he chose the league, where we finished 8th, by the way, over the FA Cup that gave him any credit in the bank. This season, he's thrown it away with his stupid decisions and selection against Nottingham Forest. He could have played Lacazette. He could have played Callum Chambers. He could have played Pablo Mari over Rob Holding, because Rob Holding is shocking, right? He could have played Lacazette up front, but he didn't, right? So his decisions have cost us that cup competition 2 seasons straight. The League Cup, if he does get knocked out, will be 3 seasons straight he's knocked us out in the League Cup. The Europa League, he's knocked us out at the 2 attempts he's been in it. One to our former manager, by the way, whose squad cost £12 million. Yeah, that's probably 2 years of his salary, right? The season before, he'd done us in stoppage time against Olympiacos. Then, lo and behold, he didn't even qualify for that competition this season. So he's then had 1 week, every week, just 1 game a week. He's done 150 million in the summer, and we've already lost 7 games this season in the league. So, no disrespect. Where's the progress? I don't see it.
Well, I think you're playing better football. I understand you've lost 7 games, but you have more points than at this stage last year. You've looked more resolute in games. You're becoming more competitive in the bigger games, and I think Man City was a part of that. I do think I do see progression there. You are currently sitting 4th, which most people wouldn't have expected you to be in halfway through the season. And I don't necessarily think coming 5th or 6th is a sign of not progressing. I think context needs to be applied in every direction, even if you fall out. How far are you in front of... If you get 8-9 points in front of Tottenham and Man United by the end of March, and then you finish 6th and well behind those 2 because you collapsed, then I think criticism needs to happen. What I think Arteta needs to do from here is continue this. It's almost... The way I hear it from some people is like... I saw people tweeting after the Nottingham Forest game. It was almost... Doesn't matter, we're out of this competition, guys. We can now just focus on the FA Cup. And that kind of, I don't know what the word for it, that false positivity tells me that people are worried about the season fizzling out. They're worried about, and I'm sure if top 4 fizzles out, it will be, yeah, but we got 15 more points than last year, so we still need to 100% back him.
We finished 6th, so that's improvement. Now, if we get a better squad, because when you strip back the first 11, that's great, but then after that, the squad's better. Every excuse in the book. I had a conversation with a friend of mine the other day, right? And he said to me, I'll read you what he said, Terry, right? This is where we're at, and this is where most Arteta fans are at, right? People are saying I'm negative, right? How's it negative to want to be the best? Although I suppose in modern society, it probably is. So, yeah. But anyway, let me find this text. Here we go. So he said to me, Arteta's inherited a mess. He had to get rid of the likes of Ozil and Mustafi, right? I put... do you think we can compete with City, Chelsea and Liverpool with this manager? He put, yeah, with the right players, with the current squad, no. I put, so he needs another 4 transfer windows, another 250 million to compete. I put, why is he literally the only manager in the world that needs 5 years and $500 million to even try and compete, right? He then said, well, Guardiola, Pep and Klopp needed money. I don't see your point. Those 3 wouldn't compete for the league with that squad either. I put, those 3 wouldn't have spent £250 million on that squad. They wouldn't, and that is all you get. Every Arteta fan sounds the same, Terry. Oh, but nobody else could do a better job with that squad. Rubbish, absolute rubbish. Yeah, every single season that this manager has been here, the standards are dropped. Every single week that goes past, the goalposts move. The fact that the club came out and didn't give any sort of target from the ownership, from Edu, and from the manager. Not one of them publicly said on camera when they were all interviewed, not one of them gave a target for the season. There's no accountability. And our fans, right, will cheer and jump for joy if we finish 6th. No disrespect, El. We finished 5th with Unai Emery. And look at the squad he had. Right. But then the excuse you get is, oh, but it's a more competitive league. Bollocks. It ain't.
I look at it this way, like you know, as I was alluding to, mate, I feel like there has been progression this year. It's then what you do from this moment. I know what people are going to do if you regress from this point. It will be, but we still achieve what I expected from the beginning of the season. Therefore, it's still progression. I don't think it kind of works. I think football has to be a little bit more agile because in my opinion, there are two other factors in that. Man United are a lot worse this season than everybody expected. Even the biggest Ollie outers who despised how he played didn't predict that we would be this bad. In fact, everybody kind of thought with Ronaldo, Sancho and Varane, they'll just win even more games with individual brilliance. You've had Leicester. No one predicted Leicester being this bad this season. Nobody did. So you've got two teams there that have fallen out of the top 6.
Yeah, but Terry, if you win your game in hand, you're 1 point behind Arsenal, who are 4th.
No, and I do, and I understand that, and
crap.
That's kind of my point. We've been crap. Leicester have been rubbish. There's been an opportunity opened. Arsenal, for me, have progressed and played better. But when it comes to judging Mikel Arteta in this Arsenal squad, and then the ambition of your football club, it's what you do from this point that's a telltale sign. Now we're going to talk about Vlahovic a little bit later, but you go and sign him. You drop big money on him or on another good attacking player, and you maintain sort of your points average, and you maintain it, and you finish inside the top 4. Then I think for me that marks a sign of progression. If you fade away from here, and then you get these like toxic positive people that are sort of like, yeah, but actually look at this data point. And if you look at the league table from this, from like, I don't know, like February the 1st until this date, we're actually the 2nd best team in Europe. That sort of stuff for me does my head in because Arsenal have impressed me this season. And I can't shy away from that.
Sorry, let me ask you a question.
What's annoying me though? Sorry, what's annoying me is that they have impressed me. You've been better than I thought you were going to be. But the season isn't over. People are talking like it's done. And I don't even know. It doesn't annoy me as a rival fan. It annoys me as a football person where I think, have you never watched the game before? We're halfway through. This is the business end now. This is the home straight. I've seen it in the Olympics a number of times where someone has a really good 3/4 of a 400-meter race. You think, right now what? And then they die in the home straight and finish 7th. That wasn't a good race. Like it's how you finish these things. And I think some Arsenal fans need to just celebrate the progression they see in their way, but slow down a little bit with throwing crap at people. Like some people would honestly sanction an open bus top parade now on the way they feel. I find it crazy, but sorry, you're going to ask a question.
100%. Mate, people don't understand because they've grown up on Arsene Wenger's 10 years of lies and BS and fraudulence, right? And I'd say if you surveyed every single Arsenal fan on social media over all platforms, the average age is between 18 and 24. They know nothing about football. Yeah, real talk. They know nothing pre-Arsene Wenger. They know nothing about the ins and outs of the football club, the transfer dealings, how much money we had, how much money Arsene Wenger was getting paid. Yeah, Arsene Wenger sat there lying through his teeth saying the stadium was being paid off, hence why we sold all our players. Absolute rubbish. Stan Kroenke paid that stadium off 3 years ago, and since then we've outspent every football club in the world. Right? But then the excuse for that is, oh yeah, but he ain't put his own money in. Well, if all of these fans actually educated themselves on the football club, back in 2002, before they were probably born, Sir Peter Hillwood came out and said, we're moving to Ashburton Grove, which is the Emirates, to be self-sufficient. So why are they all crying that we need a better owner? Because we're self-sufficient, right? And I want to ask you this question. What is the aim of elite sport, Terry?
To win.
Okay, so if you don't win, then what? You're a what? Yeah, you're going to try and side-skirt this question.
No, I'm not. However, again, I'm not side-skirting it, but I do think I don't want to do a Molly May here and just give a sweeping
Everyone's got 24 hours, tell.
which is true in terms of we literally all have 24 hours, but they're not all the same. And it's the same for football clubs because Brighton compete in elite sport. But a success, if Brighton finished 7th this season, that's winning for them because of the size of them. No, however, when it I don't, because I don't think
they could go all out for a cup competition. right? We see Wigan win the FA Cup against Man City, so it can be done. We've seen Millwall get to a final against Man United.
We've
seen Hull City get to a final against Arsenal and go 2-0 up.
They could
So
do though.
everyone has the same
problem is,
opportunity within football.
no, they
to go
don't.
and win a
No,
competition.
Lee, that's cap, bro. They don't have the same opportunity in football.
A League One team can go and win the Vanarama Cup or whatever it's called, yeah, the trophy, and have a day out at Wembley, Terry. Everyone has the same opportunity in football in the leagues that they're in to go and win a competition. Every single one of them.
They all enter the same, but the difference is when you've got the resources and the finances of Brighton, you don't have a squad that's as deep as a Man City. Therefore, the opportunity to win isn't the chance of winning is minus.
Yeah,
so
but you're not going to win the FA Cup or the League Cup if you put a reserve team out in it against another team, are you?
No, you're not.
Brighton, why would you not put your best team out in that?
Because the difference between
the league's more important, because the money's more important.
Yeah, but this is the point, though. This is the point. It's not a losing mentality. It's not a losing mentality. When you're Brighton and you're trying to climb the ladder, the difference in finances between, say, finishing 8th in the league or 7th and finishing 13th is millions and millions of pounds, which a club like Brighton will invest into developing players, buying people, keeping hold of their good quality players. So over the course of time, I think every club has the ideals and the ambition to one day be a Champions League team that can compete, but it's a slow burner for the football club to get to that point. I understand where you're coming from, finishing 10th or finishing 15th. What's the difference? Go for an FA Cup. At the same time, though, they still suffered the same situation as in the league. Eventually, they're going to go up against at least 2 to 3 teams generally that are superior to them in terms of squad.
You still have the same opportunity.
But they don't, though. They have the same. They're in the same.
That was a great comment in your comment section. Everyone has the same opportunity. You just have a different probability. Portsmouth won an FA Cup. Wigan won an FA Cup. Millwall got to one against you, final. Hull were 2-0 up against us. And barring a miracle, they would have won that. So everyone has the same opportunity. The probability is different.
And I think, so I'll concede on that bit there, that everyone has an opportunity. Every game, there's an opportunity for both teams to win. But as you said, the probability and the likelihood is different. So when your probability is so low, because there's 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 teams in the league that engulf you in terms of their money. I don't know if that's the right word for you. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but they're just superior in terms of money. It makes it harder for you. So therefore, your level of success compared to theirs is relative. Brighton, if they were to come 5th in the league, I'll give you an example. If West Ham come 4th this year, that's the best achievement of any team in the league this season. Even if City win the league, what Man City have done pound for pound for me is a better achievement because of where the expectations are. The probability is so vast. It's, when Leicester won the league, what was it? A 5,000 to 1 shot. That's what they were given odds.
Well, you just closed the argument then, because you've just proven my point. Everyone has the same opportunity. The probability is different. Yeah, but Leicester still won the league, didn't they? Atletico Madrid go up against the 2 biggest powerhouses in world football.
You're right, Lee. Sorry, you're right about the opportunity bit. I concede that. I'm just looking at it from a probability angle. So that's why it felt a bit weird saying it. The difference is, you said about winning is successful and everything else after that makes you a loser. If, for instance, West Ham come 4th this year, they're not losers. Because they
haven't won anything.
No, they're not losers. They're not. It's relative.
They then qualify as a well done. You've overachieved in the league position.
Everybody was on a level.
Go and have a competition to win a trophy.
Everybody was on a level playing field, and the squads were relatively equal. So let's just break it down to very layman terms. Everybody had 3 world-class players. They had 5 top-class players. They had 5 very good players, and then the rest were made up of average players. You literally equalize the league, and you create a pyramid of the best of the worst players, and you equally divided them between teams. Then winning would be the best, and coming second would be being a loser. But there isn't an equal balance of share of players. Therefore, success is relative as far as I'm concerned. It has to be.
Disagree. Totally. How did Villarreal win the Europa League against us and you? They beat us and beat you. Villarreal's squad, by the way, is less than Ronaldo's 1-year salary. Yeah, their whole squad cost 12 million.
I think you play into my point there. Because Man United winning the Europa League, you celebrate the moment. We don't even want to be in that competition. Where for Villarreal, it isn't irrelevant. Where for Villarreal,
you got to the final.
For Villarreal, it was the greatest moment in their club's history because of relativity. So Man United or Arsenal winning the Europa League means a lot less to us as a football club than it
Totally
does
disagree.
Villarreal because of the size of the clubs, the history, the heritage, and what's come before you. The expectation is so much higher. You're not a loser just because you're not top of the Premier League. It depends on your club,
Okay,
finances,
so let me ask you
and
this
everything
then. So
else.
Millwall getting to the cup final against you lot then and losing it, was that success to them?
That's a
Getting to the cup?
successful. That is a successful season.
Totally disagree. They didn't win it.
But Millwall fans will disagree with you. They'll say it was a success based on the size of their club.
Look,
Has to be.
ask Wigan fans what success is. It's winning the trophy, mate. Right. The fact is, yeah, if I get what you're saying about finances and money and league positions, right? You use the example of West Ham. If they get Champions League football, then great, they get Champions League football. That is then a Brucey bonus for not winning the title, but you were the fourth best team in the league. Right now, you can enter a competition to go and win the trophy. If you don't win the trophy, you've lost. Back in 1993, we finished 10th or 12th Arsenal under George Graham, and we won both the cups, the League Cup and the FA Cup. One of them qualified us for the Cup Winners' Cup. Guess what? We went and won it. Yeah, that is what you do. It's a cup competition. You go and win it. And that Parma team we played, by the way, yeah, odds against, that was stacked. Brolin, Darlene, Zola, bad boy team, man. Bad boy team.
And I'm not disagreeing with that. But at the same time, though, mate, even back then in 1993, you were Arsenal Football Club. You were a
Parma had a better team.
Yes, I know, but you both had very good teams. What I'm talking about is if you've got a team, and it will use contemporary sense so everyone understands it. If Norwich City go toe-to-toe in a game with Liverpool and beat them, that is a bigger shock and a bigger achievement than if Man City beat Liverpool in a game. It's far more unexpected. The probability is lower. So that as a win is like huge. Equally, there is credit to be taken when you're a much smaller team for holding your own and maybe narrowly losing a game because you weren't expected to win in the first place. Yes, on paper, it counts as an L. There is only one winner. There is only one gold medal, and I understand that. But you have to look at it from a relative point of view. Across all, I think all sports are very similar in that as well. It's why you always get these hero stories at Olympics where you see someone that comes from it might be a fairly, relative terms, poor country that doesn't have a great sports program, and you see them, they might enter swimming or they might be in the sprinting race, and they come nowhere near a qualifying time like to get through to the next round. But there is a sense of everyone's clapping them and applauding them because based on the facilities they get to use in their homeland, they almost can't be any better. They're not a loser because they came last. And I think sometimes
the aim of elite sport is to win. It's not to come third loser, mate. Simple. The aim is to win.
The aim is to win. But the problem is that football
and everyone in every league can win because if you're in League One or the Championship, you have an opportunity to win the title.
I understand
and you also have the opportunity to win the League Cup, and you have the opportunity to win the FA Cup, and you have the opportunity to win the other cup that they do.
But we don't start the season. No, we don't start each season on a level playing ground.
Irrelevant.
It isn't irrelevant. It can't.
Sorry, if you're I don't know, Doncaster Rovers, at the start of the season, you're entered into the League Cup, the FA Cup. You're in the league, so you've got a chance to win that. That's now 3 competitions, and then you have the Johnston Paint Trophy. That's now 4 trophies that Doncaster Rovers have an opportunity to go and win. Right, and I'm just using them as because they're a smaller club, yeah. Right, they've now got 4 trophies they could potentially go and win. If they don't win any of them, they failed. Every season they
haven't necessarily failed. You have to. So in the third round of the FA Cup, they draw Man City away and lose. That ain't failure.
Terry, how can Wigan beat Man City?
Because they did brilliantly on a one-off game.
There you go. So why can't Doncaster do that?
Because of probability. The teams are so outweighed, it's so unlikely to happen. And by the way, for Doncaster to win the FA Cup, they're going to have to beat 3 or 4 teams.
Okay, well, why can't they win the Johnston Paint Trophy then?
Because football sport doesn't work. So
why can't they win the league? And that's my point. Every single year, 4 trophies. Let
me answer. In their league, and in the Johnston's Paint Trophy, your point holds more water because they're competing with people pound for pound closer to them. That's a fair argument.
On that basis, how did Cambridge beat Newcastle at the weekend? How did Morecambe go 1-0 up in the first place against Tottenham?
Let me finish my sentence, though, but now you're taking it down to individual games. Let's go back to your original point that was coming second or third is automatically losing. There is retrospect and there is a probability that needs to come into this. On individual games, anybody can, on paper, beat anybody. But you're not a loser if a team with better managers, better players, deeper squads, more money, who, by the way, have been growing in a certain direction before, 10 years prior to you, 20 years prior to you. Teams like Man United and Arsenal have been growing to the point they are in the football world for 70, 80, 90 years plus. It's impossible for some teams to be on par and go toe-to-toe with them for a 38-game season. It doesn't make them, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't make them losers. But listen,
okay, so on that basis, and I get your point. I totally get your point, right? On that basis, how didn't PSG win the title when Lille won it last season then?
But that's failure.
Well, there you go, because they didn't win anything. They didn't win it. How come they've never won the Champions League? They've got more money. They've got better players.
Exactly.
Come on, it's the same fucking thing, Terry.
Exactly. That is failure because they are the favourites and they're the best by a country mile.
But they're not the favourites. They've just got a load of good players. They're not the favourites. PSG are not the favourites to win the Champions League. No way.
No. They're the favourites to win the Uber Eats League.
Okay,
so they're not winning it. It's failure.
So that's my point.
They failed. Nah,
no, Terry, let me just say this.
Wrong. You've done yourself.
You've
done yourself, Lee. You've done it.
No, PSG failed to win the title, so they failed.
Right? Yes.
But Lille went against all odds.
Yes.
And won the title.
Yes.
So they succeeded. So that point that I made about what's the aim of elite sport is to win.
Yes.
Yeah. And you said, yeah, but it's all relative. Well, it ain't, because Lille proved you can do it. Atletico Madrid go up against the two richest clubs in world football.
Lille they're an exception that proves the rule. If you play that season 20 times, Paris Saint-Germain,
go back through the last 20 winners in the league.
Let me just finish my point. Again, no, but we're talking about League A, where they have a monopoly. The Premier League, there are far more winners, but it's nearly always the same teams. Even when you look at FA Cup winners, even when you look at the FA Cup winners in the last 30 years, it's nearly always someone at that time was top 2, top 3 teams in the league because they just have superior squads and management. The point is this. You're absolutely right in your example around Paris Saint-Germain. They were the favourites by a country mile to win. If they don't, they fail. If you're predicted to come 7th, but you finish 3rd, you have superseded the expectations. Therefore, it can't be considered failure. It's all based on where you were expected to start. And sometimes you have to move those goalposts within the season. So, for instance, where Man City were already the favourites, they're a bad example. Let's say Man United were full favourites to win the league, but right now we were 12 points clear, and then we didn't win the league. That there is failure because you had this big lead and you let it go. But if Man United are predicted to come 4th, nobody thinks we're better than 4th place, and you come 2nd. That isn't, for me, that isn't failure in that individual season. Now, you have to then progress from there and start to challenge. And when you're talking about the biggest and the best teams going head to head, you are right. When Man United are not challenging for titles, failure. Chelsea and Liverpool look like they're falling out of the title race. For their squads versus Man City, that's failure. But for, I'm trying to think of the best example in the Premier League. For Newcastle to not be competing with Man City is not failure. It's not failure. It's not.
Terry.
Not, man. Come on.
Terry. Brighton have gone to Anfield in the last 2 seasons and nicked 4 points, right? Right. By the way, when they beat them 2-0 last season at their ground, Liverpool had 1 shot on target. 1 shot. I think they only had 4 shots. In fact, this time round, they were 2-0 down and come back to 2-2. Brighton's squad, Brighton's manager, Brighton's players, how do they get a result every year at Anfield? How?
Because of a number of reasons.
How can they get a result against us every year?
Because good results
happen. How can they get a result against Chelsea the other day? How?
Mate, how? Because on any given day, anyone can beat anyone.
Thank you. And that's my point. On any given day, you can go past this club, this club, this club, this club on any given day and go and win the tournament.
By your logic, you expect Brighton to win the league based on that.
No,
that's stupid.
No, I never said that. What I said is every year you've got 3 or 4 competitions that each team in each division can go and have a chance to go and win.
No, they have a chance. They have a chance. But
that's my point. So hold on. So Brighton have the League Cup, Brighton have the League Cup, the FA Cup, and the Premier League.
But you can't remove probability and chance from your equation because you're right with Brighton. On any given day, they can beat a team. But the problem, say in the FA Cup, they get drawn against Newcastle, then Man United, then Arsenal, then Chelsea, then Man City. The probability of beating Newcastle, they've got a great chance. They're better, I would say, than Newcastle. But the probability of beating 5 superior clubs and teams and managers on the bounce is so minuscule for not achieving that to be considered as failure. It is. No, it is. The probability won't work like that. To beat teams that are superior you consistently one after the other in a competition.
Yeah, but you're not playing that one after the other 5 weeks straight, Terry. You're playing it over a period.
No, you're not, but it's still hard. It doesn't make it for me.
You're playing superior. They're playing superior teams.
What we'll do, listen, viewers, what do you think?
Terry, they're playing superior teams week in, week out in the Premier League, mate.
Who are?
And if they win their game in hand, Brighton, they're 5 points off fourth.
Yes.
So every week they're playing superior teams.
Which is amazing. They don't play superior teams every week because they're probably better.
Of course they are.
They're better than half the league. Easy.
Wait, they finished 15th last season.
I think they're better than half the league this year.
I think they're better than half the league this year. But last season, based on last season, they finished 15th.
Okay, so then
and they sold their best centre back to us, apparently.
But when you say superior, a team that finishes one place in front of them, pound for pound, are not vastly superior. Comparing them to Man City and saying not finishing in front of the league, in front of Man City.
I never said they should finish above them.
But you did. You said it's failure.
I said, no, Terry, please.
You said it's failure.
What I said is if you do not win the league, it is failure. Yeah, that goes for every single team in the league.
Brighton not finishing in front of Man City this season. Brighton should consider that failure.
It's failure. You didn't win the league. I'll give you an example. TONEY did an interview when he came up with Brentford, right? Terry, the aim of elite sports to win. It's not to finish 12th or 14th or 15th or 4th, right? It's to win, right? So with your Brighton, Brentford, Doncaster, Port Vale, Accrington Stanley, who are they exactly, right? TONEY came up as a championship winner, right? Came up and he did an interview before the season started, and they said, "What's your goals for the season? What's your targets?" He said, "To win the league." Yeah, that is a winner. I want that geezer at my football club immediately because that guy's mentality is, "I want to win. I want to win the title." He said he wants to win the league. The title is the aim for Brentford. He said, "Yeah, Brentford." But you're saying that. The aim of elite sport, Terry, is to win. It's not to come forth and see that, oh, yes, we get Champions League money. We can attract better players. What's a load of cobblers? We did that for 20 to 22 years, mate. Didn't win it. So you failed for 20 years. I don't care how much money the club get in their back pocket. Yeah, unless we're winning, it's irrelevant. Yeah, and if you're not winning the trophies, this is why I used the Doncaster example. They got the league title. They've got the League Cup. They've got the FA Cup. And they've got the Johnston Paint Trophy or whatever it's called. I think it's still called that. So they've got 4 possible avenues to go down for a trophy. If you don't get any of them,
okay,
then go and do it again next season.
We are going to move on from this because otherwise we will get the rest of the show done. For me, you are mixing too many variables. So a good championship, I don't even know if the championship teams can enter a very good League One team that enter the Johnston's Paint Trophy. Not winning that, if you're a very good League One team, is highly different to not winning the FA Cup, because the FA Cup has Man City, Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal. In fact, it has all the Premier League teams in it.
Us in it anymore.
Well, not you. So you can't compare the two. Saying for Doncaster Rovers is a great example. Doncaster Rovers not winning the FA Vans Trophy or whatever it's called now, and not winning the FA Cup, being comparable as both being failure, for me is unacceptable. Now, if Doncaster Rovers get knocked out by a non-league team in the FA Cup, that's failure. But for me, or a team that's lesser than them. But I think if you get beat by teams that are vastly superior to you, you can't do it. But listen, viewers, what do you think on that? If Brighton finished below Man City in the league,
look at the way you're wording this. You're a joker.
You said it, Lee. Look, that's the question. That's the poll.
Tighten it like this. If you don't win the league, is it failure? Yes. And anyone who says no, anyone who says no, is exactly why football is finished.
No, it's finished.
It's finished. Football is finished.
It's finished. Well, this man's been able to move to Spain covering football. Nonsense. It's finished. It's
I got run out the country. I'm banned from the ground.
We've got some super chats, and then we're going to speak Vlahovic. We're going to get onto Marcus Rashford a bit later. Make sure you're smashing that like and share button. By the way, that's how you can have a heated conversation without being nasty to one another.
Come on, what else? Yeah, I'm not having it.
I know Lee's a prick, but it's all right. Do you know what I mean? Lee was having 2 cigs and a beer before he hopped on. Terry acting like McGregor for a press conference late. Just joking. Hope you are doing well. Unlike United. Do you know what's mad? about Man United's form. We will get onto that a bit later. Man United, Ralph Rangnick's win percentage as Man United manager is the best after 7 games, the best in 40 years. It's great, and we were terrible. Shows what stats can do. We already had that one there. Thank you, Lee, for that. Back at my second home, the Football Terrace. I see what you did there. Very funny. Why are you upset, Lee? Thought you were ecstatic that we lost to get the manager out. You're a hypocrite.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for the $5.
Once a club sends off samples to testing companies, all they get back is an A+ or a positive or a negative result. They ain't drawing red lines, a rapid flow kit like this. I don't quite get what that's about, bruv. You've been talking about like CV testing, but thank you, Max. Thank you very much for the super chat. Fight.
No, I'm a lover, mate. Terry had knocked me clean out. I can't lie.
Football is like life. Set targets and try to achieve that. Lee, how many football content awards did you win last year?
I love this.
Not more than AFTV. Is your life a failure? I don't think so.
I would love to say what I want to say about that award, but I'm not going to. I'm going to be respectful.
My company owns.
I know, that's why I'm being respectful.
They own that award. They own that award. I also host that show.
I know.
I host that show. Leave it. Get your super chats in, people. And remember, a big shout out to our title sponsors today, Fan Team. Here's a little link to their website. So you can join the new competition that is coming out, which I'll put up on the screen for you to see right now. Make sure you sign up. It's free to enter. When you click on the link, it will say it's £10 to enter, but when you register, it turns to a free token. So don't let that put you off. You'll see when I've already got my team entered. That's why it says that. So you can join the £100,000 second chance season right about now. I actually just put that link into the wrong tab here. I'm going to now get it to change on the screen so you can see it. There we go. That's the second chance season, as you can see there. You click to participate. I've already got a team. That's why it's showing up to enter, because if I want to enter more than one team, it costs you, as you can see here. You can enter that, but there's also my mini league. If you go into the description below, there is my mini league that is available for you as well. So we're going to play that game this weekend when it all launches. And you'll see they'll ask you for a code. The code is TFT Fan Team, which again is pinned to the live comment section or in the comments or below. You can do that, and then you can pick your team just for this weekend to participate. There's one entry so far in our team. Go and get that done and check that all out at the end of the show. Make sure that's being done, my people. I wanted to speak about Vlahovic with you, bro. Like, Vlahovic is heavily linked to the club. There's talk about big money being thrown at him, big money being thrown at him to bring him to Arsenal, £100 million investment. The odds right now, he's almost evens to join now. He's 3-1 about a week ago. Do you think this is a real deal that Arsenal are really pursuing?
No. It's the simple answer. No. We need a striker. This reminds me of Thomas Lemar. I can't lie. It reminds me of Thomas Lemar. We'll probably sign Eddie and Nketiah up to a new deal. Yeah. We did a show, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, and every time we're linked to this guy, he doesn't want to come. He doesn't want to come. All the story. So why is the story just constantly regurgitated? Yeah, now it's Arsenal are putting together this blockbuster package, 150 million, including wages. Turn it in. Come on. Like, we're supposed to believe that this is going to be a £90 million signing when he's got 18 months left in his contract. Like, come on. Like, and they're going to give up their star asset, their star player, when they're on the cusp of top 4, which, according to you, is success. And listen, let's be real. There's about 3 or 4 teams fighting for that 4th spot. So, are they going to give up their star man in January? No chance. Not happening. Not happening. Why would he come to Arsenal? Real talk. Why would he come to us? Right now, with this manager, why would he come to us? He's look. If you look, right, these players all talk, right. I'm not saying that he knows any Arsenal players or anything like that, but they've probably all mingle in the same circles. They've all got the same agents. They've got agents that know other agents that are his agent, etc., etc. Look at the way Aubameyang's just been outcasted from the football club. Yeah, that for me is a big problem for us. The way Mikel Arteta has just hung him out to dry, not said why, but just said he broke protocol. Nothing else has come out, and it's hearsay. If you're a striker that's in top form and got the likes of Man City, Tottenham, Arsenal, and other clubs looking at you, Why would you go to Arsenal? When you're looking at Aubameyang's situation, you're looking at the fact that Lacazette's running his contract down. You're looking at where we are in the league. You're looking at the fact that we've just been dumped out the cup. You're looking at who the manager is, which is an important thing, and the progress or process of the football club under that manager since he's been here. Why would you choose Arsenal if you could go Man City or you could go Juve? Why would you do that? It makes no sense to me, Terry. Yes, this is classic Arsenal PR.
I understand where you're coming from with that. I do. If they put the bid, do you think they're just going to put a bid in for it to be rejected so they can turn around and say, but we tried? Is that what you think they're doing essentially?
They're not even going to put a bid in. I don't think they'll put a bid in. I genuinely don't. I don't think they'll put a bid in, Terry. At the end of the day, we do need a striker. Yeah, that's pretty evident. But, you know, when everyone's sitting there saying, oh, we don't miss Aubameyang, well, maybe we did miss him at the weekend. And the thing is, the kid's stock is so high at the moment. Yeah, amazing, great, fantastic, right? But I've said this a million times before, right? When you sign a player from overseas in a defensive position or a midfield position, it's a lot easier for them to fit in than it is for an attacking player as a wide forward or a striker. We have seen more flops from overseas in the striking and attacking positions than we have in any other position. And that's because the league is a lot harder defensively to break down. Yeah. Like when you look at the Italian league, yes, it's on a bit of an upturn at the moment. There's some good teams out there at the moment. There's some good players out there at the moment. But at the same time, 90 million plus wages for this kid. I don't see it, mate. I don't see it. He's 20 what? 21? 21, 22? Nah, don't see it, mate.
Look, I think it's an interesting one for me. Everybody I've spoken to has said Arsenal are 100% trying to do this. Mikel Arteta has held talks with him. There's a lot of convincing that's got to be done. They've got to convince him to join. Very much Odegaard-esque in terms of working hard to bring him in. I think where Arsenal could benefit is the sense of the other clubs that he wants to join. What's their position? So there's a lot of talk that Juve are not in a position to be able to go for him finances, as an example. A lot of people are targeting Haaland as their number one choice. Football players can be quite sensitive in that regard. Almost, okay, well, Vlahovic's top three targets are all going to spend the summer fighting for Haaland, which probably is going to be a deal that drags. I don't see it going quickly. I feel like they will drag that out to get the most amount of money possible. You could sit there as Vlahovic and say, but Arsenal want me now. They're willing to pay me massive money. And on top of that, what I've been told and was confirmed to me today is that they're reportedly willing to offer the agent up to £15 million in a fee if he convinces his client to join Arsenal. So it feels like Arsenal.
On that basis, I don't want him then.
Do you not want him if you're paying a lot of money for him? Like, it's in like you have to pay.
It's not so much that, but if you have to convince the guy to come and join, I don't want him because his heart ain't in it. If you have to beg someone to come and play for you, Terry, yeah, that's never a good look, mate. Yeah, and it's I have to go there because they've paid the money. No. I want players that actually want to play for the club. Yeah, like real talk. The kid ain't going to come and play for us anyway. He's going to look at Arsenal and say no, which is what all the stories keep saying. You have to take a lot of these media outlets with a pinch of salt, right? For weeks and weeks and weeks, it's been he don't want to join Arsenal. We don't want to join Arsenal, and I totally get that because we're crap, right? But at the same time, we're then going to overpay for him. And then overpay his agent to convince him. Well, I don't want him then. I don't want him. If we have to convince the guy and overpay him and overpay everyone to get the deal done, I don't want him, mate.
I do understand. However, what I will say is this, that as long as his heart's in it and he's fighting hard in every single game, I don't feel like it really matters. I feel like it could still heavily benefit you as a team. I still feel like it could really do you like a world of good, if that makes sense. I feel like it could still be a very, very good thing for you. I don't necessarily think like he's going to come in, he's not going to work hard, he's not going to run, he's not going to play, he's not going to give his all. But it's almost a case of showing him and showing his team that we want you more than anybody else does. Almost, you've got 3 or 4 companies that are offering you a job. And maybe the two that you think are the best for you are offering you 40 grand a year to work for them. But then another company that you think are good, but you're like, I don't know if I want to join them, are offering you 80 grand a year to do the same work.
Yeah.
You're not going to feel more valued by them.
Well, it depends what the end gain is. If the end gain is you're going to be winning award after award after award at that company that's paying less money, yeah, and you're going to be the top boy in your field by joining that company but on less money, or you're going to be the fourth top boy at the company that's overpaying, or the fifth top boy in the world at the company that's overpaying, where would you go? It's like I said, the aim of elite sports to win. He's got more chance of winning at Juve in Man City than he has at Arsenal. Yeah, and let's be real, Harry Kane wanted to leave Tottenham for that exact reason. Yeah, every player that's left Arsenal and gone to Man City and Barca and all these other places and Man United, they've all left because they want to win. Because, like I said, the aim of elite sport is to win. It's not to come fourth. So if you're him and you're 21, 22, whatever he is, and your stock's that high, you're a multi-millionaire at this point anyway, because the next deal, you're minted for the rest of your life. So what's the difference between 100 grand a week and 120 grand a week? Who cares?
I do understand that, but I think it's also about somebody wanting you and having that faith in you and willing to put their, that kind of their money where their mouths are. But I do get your point on that. And look, I totally agree that the aim of sport is especially when you're an individual, it's I want to go to the club that's best place to win. That only actually works if the teams that are winning actually want you as well. Because no disrespect to someone like Danny Welbeck now in his career, no one that's actually good enough to win a league title is going to sign Danny Welbeck. So he can't help but
good enough to win a cup, though, Terry.
Yeah, they maybe if they get the right draws and the right big teams knock each other out and it all falls perfectly into place, they might be able to do it in that regard.
If you're going to go and do 90 million quid on this kid, I'd rather go and buy two strikers that are already in the Premier League. Just go and buy two strikers that are already in the Premier League. They don't need to adapt. They don't need to change climate. They don't need to go to a different country. They don't need to learn a new language.
Would you prefer Dominic Calvert-Lewin?
No. And people that sit there and crucify me for this, I couldn't give a shit. Yeah, I'd take Ivan Toney and Ollie Watkins in a heartbeat. Both of them. Ollie Watkins can play left side as well. Yeah, and Ivan Toney is a superstar in the making, mate. That kid is sick. Yeah, he is sick. Yeah, he's got everything. Absolutely everything. And this is the thing, like, it's fashionable to rate this Vlahovic at the minute. How many of these people that are putting comments in the chat or sitting on their Twitter accounts or Instagram, how many of these people actually watch Fiorentina every week? They don't. They don't. So it's just off hearsay and, oh, yes, everyone likes him, so I'll like him. How about have your own opinion? Like, at the end of the day, Man United were the most successful team in the Premier League under Fergie for how long? And what did they do every year? Oh, let's go and buy the best player in the Premier League that ain't ours. Berbatov, Rooney, Rio. I could go on. Yeah, because it's all about Prem experience and it's all about getting players that are acclimatized to the league already, that don't need to go and bed in and don't need to learn a new language and don't need to up sticks and move country and don't need to. There's so many factors when you sign a player, regardless of whether they're in England or not, but there is so many more factors when you sign a player from abroad. Yeah, like look at Nicola Pepe, 72 million quid. There's no way I'm believing we're doing 150 mil with wages and fees and that on this kid. No chance, never in a million years. Yeah, we've already done 90 million on Pepe with wages. Yeah, and fees.
Well, I totally hear you on that. That's one of the reasons why when we're looking at midfielders at Man United, you've got like Hadaras, Kamara, Zakaria. That I think I've watched them all. I've watched snippets of them. I've researched them. They look very good. But if you offered me those three, right, this window, you can have any one of those three or Ruben Neves. I'm taking Ruben Neves because the one thing we know with Neves that he can do it in the Prem, and I think it's one less risk. And what you always get from people is, oh, but I've seen Premier League players move and not do well, and that is very true. But I feel like there's less of a risk. So I totally get that point. I do also though get the feeling with Vlahovic. I feel as though he's going to be one of those, You know, in 5 or 6 years' time, he is going to be he's already one of the leading strikers in terms of goals, but I think he's going to be one of those leading strikers in Europe. So I do understand the want to go and get him, but £150 million is a total investment that it's going to cost in terms of the first contract, the transfer fee, and the agent fee. It's a huge investment from Arsenal to go out there and do it. But look, I think the players you mentioned, I think Ollie Watkins has got something about him. TONEY as well. Like, I like that lad. 25, 26 years of age, good experience. And, you know, he come from the lower levels. And there's a lot of quality.
People get it twisted with him, right? People get it twisted with him because he hasn't scored and got the output that he had last season. If you actually watch Brentford last season and watch him this season, he's totally changed his role. Yeah, because he's not doing, like, somebody put a comment in saying he walks a lot during games. Yeah, he does. He does, but he's now playing like a Firmino type role rather than a striker type role like he did last season.
What I would say, I know that Brentford have obviously adapted their styles during the Premier against better teams, but remember, if they don't win the league this year and he doesn't score more goals, it's failure because this is a league.
You're a joker. Well, it is because his words were, "I want to win the title."
But you've proved, yeah, he does, but he knows it ain't realistic.
Yeah.
You actually proved my point.
He said he wants to
move up from a lower level to a higher level.
He's failed. He's failed.
No, he hasn't failed. You know he ain't. That's why you want to sign him.
His words.
Got him.
Listen,
gotcha.
I tell you, with Ollie Watkins as well. With Ollie Watkins no, you haven't got me because his words were he wants to win the league and that's the target. So yes, he has failed. Yeah, on his own high standards, my standards of what elite sport's about. Yeah, Brentford have failed because they ain't won the league. That's what their target was. His words, Terry. Ivan Toney said the target's to win the title. So on that basis, they failed. Right?
But not this. Did he mean this year?
Yeah. They said, what's your target for the season? He said to win the title. I'm not even fucking with you. That's what he said.
Okay, I know he said it, but
no. So now you're saying he's lying, Tel.
No, I'm not saying he's lying, but like, I want to be a multi-millionaire. I want to have 50 million pounds in the bank.
You need to believe you can be before you are.
I do believe it, but if I end up only with £5 million in the bank, I won't feel like a failure.
No, because you are a multi-millionaire. You've got more than 1 million, so it's multi. Yeah, okay. You have 5.
I want to have tens of millions. Let me rephrase it. And
so you've succeeded. Gotcha.
I feel like it is what it is. I feel like it is what it is. I think there's relative terms there, but
not only that, with Ollie Watkins is an Arsenal fan. You would not need to have to beg and overpay for that geezer. Yeah, and he can play left side. Yeah, he can play left side. He can play up front. He can play left side. I think if you put him and Ivan Toney in our team, we're instantly better. Instantly better. You could rotate Martinelli with either of them. Yeah, I think we'd be instantly better.
I think those two players you mentioned are very, very good. Terry, you've got 24 hours in a day to become a multi-millionaire.
Everyone's got the same 24 hours. Do you know what I find funny just about that Molly May thing, right? She's been absolutely crucified, yeah? Floyd Mayweather said the same thing, but in a different way a couple of years back or whenever it was. Yeah, and he's been held in like, oh, he's a hero. Yeah, because he broke it down and said you have 24 hours, 8 of them you're asleep, 8 of them you're probably at work, so that's 16. 3 of them you're probably eating and preparing food, right? So now you've literally got 4 or 5 hours left. Yeah, why are you sitting on social media chatting crap on social media? He goes, make yourself productive. He goes, because that's what I've done. Yeah, but because he said it that way, and Molly May said it a different way, yeah, she's been slaughtered.
The thing is with what Molly May said, I'd be honest with you, when I saw her name trending, I had no idea who she was. And then someone said, oh, she's Tyson Fury's girlfriend. And then my next thought was, why is Tommy Fury's girlfriend? I was like, why is Tommy Fury's girlfriend talking on a podcast? I didn't get it. And then it was like, oh, they met on Love Island. I'm like, yeah, I don't watch that. So firstly, my first thought was, when you give people like Molly May a platform and you make them famous, and everyone who watches Love Island has made Molly May who she is. So firstly, I don't think anyone who watches that show has the right to overly crucify a young, naive person giving a very... I wouldn't say a bad piece of advice, but there's no nuance to it. There was no, like, she just addressed it like everybody, because everybody doesn't have the same 24 hours in a day. You know, what me and you...
It was just a throwaway comment, like, oh, yeah.
I think you need to break it. I think when Mayweather said what he said, I think I remember watching that. It was kind of broken down and whatever else. Like, you need to target a group of people that you're aiming at.
Terry, she works hard, mate. She works hard.
Yeah, I bet she does. I bet her team does around her. She turns up to those. It's crazy, and look, it's one of them things for me where I think perspective wise, if I was addressing a group of young men and women that grew up in the same environment as me in a housing estate, I would, I know I could target it towards them. But equally, like those kids on that housing estate, like me and my friends we had a much better opportunity of getting out of there than some children that maybe grew up in a favela in Brazil, because the nation, yeah, I totally got why they had to go at her. But at the same time, there was part of me that was watching it and I was like, some of you are mad. And I don't even want to sound rude about Molly May, because I don't know her personally or whatever else, but she didn't sound particularly educated. It wasn't like, yeah, she's very young, early 20s. She has no real life experience. When you make non-talented people famous, and I'm talking about people that don't have a talent or an achievement. So if you're a great singer, if you're a brilliant designer, you're a, I don't think of something else, actor. Well, I'm trying to think of things that you'd be famous for when you're young. If you're famous for something that you're brilliant at, it kind of makes sense. But we get a lot of these people now that are famous just because they went on a TV show and there's nothing else about them. When you give them that kind of platform, they're going to say stupid shit, especially when you're young. Because I remember like things I've said when I was 18, 19, 20 about life and what I'm going to do when I'm older. I look back now and think, shut up, you twonk. Like, you don't know anything at that age. You don't know anything. And it's why young people always get annoyed about older people sounding condescending. And it's because the older people know what you're saying is nonsense. And it's not until you're their age that you're going to realize it. But there we go. But yeah, listen, she got pelters for the right reasons, I do think. And I understand why people were going at her. But as you said, certain other people could say the same thing, and
it's just the way it was worded.
People would say preach. So yeah, I think there is an element of that there, and I think the guy that hosted the show kind of pulled on that. But I do understand people's frustration. It was a madness. But there we go. Speaking of madnesses, Marcus Rashford is absolutely getting pelters at the minute. His form is absolutely like atrocious right now, and for me personally, there's a big question around at the minute. Like, has he been found out and this is just as bad as he is? Or are we seeing someone who's mentally not in the right place with his game, who's just not there, and his confidence is so low that he's performing, again, below... I know someone like you doesn't even rate him, but the way he's performing right now is a lot worse than even people like you have ever said that he is, because right now he can't even kick a ball 2 yards, and he's good enough to kick a ball 2 yards. Like, what do you think is going wrong with Marcus Rashford right now?
He's not 100% focused on football. He ain't been for years. Right, it's all well and good, like doing what he's doing off the pitch, and that's like commendable, and you can say fair play to him in that. But ultimately, he's a footballer, so he's going to get judged for playing football. Yeah, and he's just a skinnier Adama Traore. He's even got the same haircut. He's a skinny Adama. Yeah, he needs to go gym with Adama Traore, bruv. But he's never been that great anyway. But Man United fans gas him up because he can run fast. Yeah, and they can use him on FIFA. Oh, he's got 92 pace. Yeah, who cares? He is rubbish. Yeah, he's rubbish. Yeah, he's got no footballing IQ of a good standard. Yeah, like, when it comes off, he looks great, doesn't he? Oh, yeah, look, he skipped past one, cuts inside and pings it. It looks great, doesn't it? Sits Ben White down on his backside against Brighton, but scores a penalty against PSG and all's forgiven. Like, he ain't that great, mate. Yeah, and I think you're realising as a fan base that he ain't that great. And reality's kicked in. And maybe instead of putting out all of his PR posts on his Twitter account with old school pictures and little statements, maybe just focus on football, mate. Yeah, it's all well and good, like I said, doing all your other stuff, feeding families and all that. That's great. Fantastic work, yeah. But why don't you just concentrate on your game, mate? Because you're a footballer. Yeah, if you want to be a politician, quit football.
I kind of feel like, listen, everything he's done for those children, I think is highly commendable. I think inadvertently it's had effect on his game, not through him. It's kind of weird the way we work in this country, when it's made Rashford more of a target of lots of different groups of people. Firstly, anybody that opposes the politics that he stands for is on him. And we've seen politicians go at him, and we know what people are like. Like, there are lots of football fans that will have more of a, dare I say, conservative view of the world, who don't like Marcus Rashford for the challenge that he's put in. So you've got that group. You've then got the people that didn't rate him as a footballer at any point, even when he was in his best form. And what I've kind of noticed is that the more he does, if his form isn't right, people focus on that and they put that pressure on him. And I think what Marcus Rashford is doing is he's got all that pressure to perform so that he doesn't get the stick for doing this charity work that he wants to do. You then get this element of, I think that we had a caller that said it last night. Oh, my Dizzy and KJ both said it, so I don't want to steal their words, but I thought deeply about what they said, and they're right. Man United, because of our failure over 9 years, have created this hero complex at the club. Everybody's almost taking the weight of the club on their shoulders, and they're doing it for the right. This is a line I'm going to take from Morgan Freeman, from one of the greatest films ever, Robin Hood and the Prince of Thieves. He says, there are no perfect men in this world, just perfect intentions. And I don't think Rashford tries to win games arrogantly to be the hero, but it's like, I want to help this club get back to the top. I want to help win this game. And I think the pressures of having to deliver for Man United and having to deliver to keep certain people off of his back, I think it's making him crumble. Now, I'm willing to respect people's opinion that don't think he's very good. I disagree. I think there's a tremendous talent in there who's done brilliant things. A player who, through good quality performances, skill and speed to boot, was one of the highest performing inside forwards 2 years running in the top leagues in European football. I don't care what people are doing in the 5th, 6th, 7th tiers of these sports. I'm talking about the main big 4 leagues. He was producing goals. He was creating goals. He was creating opportunities. He was helping Manchester United for the first couple of years under Ollie to progress. Now, whether someone thinks that he could become world-class or not is actually irrelevant to the problem with Rashford right now, because right now, he's performing well below the standard even people that don't rate him said he was at. Like right now, he doesn't even look like a footballer of championship level. I saw players from League One in the FA Cup this weekend do the basics better than Rashford. So for me, there is a big mental issue going on with him now that is crippling him much more than the ability thing. It kind of reminds me of Man United's bad form this season under Ollie. Nobody was like singing from the rafters, I told you so, because not one person on social media predicted we were going to be that bad. No one did, because otherwise their clips, their tweets would have all been, oh, I told you all. No one did. Everyone just thought, oh, we'll just win a bit more by individual brilliance. And I look at Rashford now, and do I think he's been found out? No. Do I understand why people that don't rate Rashford are jumping on that? Absolutely. You've also got this base of people as well at Man United who, like, they want to, they keep speaking like the Anthony Martial Rashford debate is reared its head. Martial's not in the team. Rashford is playing badly. Fans are all playing them off against each other, and I'm like, that's playing a part in this as well. I think all these things feed.
Yeah, Martial's miles better, so he should be in the team.
He should listen. I think Martial is a much better talent and has better ability. But at the same time, you know, this is where I talk about the pressures of the club. The coaching problems have all led to where Rashford is, because Anthony Martial is more talented. But when you look at their consistency of performances, if you look at the outputs of the two players, Martial should be clear of him, and he isn't. And it isn't just Rashford and Martial. You think about every attacking player that's come into this club in the last 9 years, or the ones that were inherited when Fergie left. The same process happens to all of them. They all, like Ahmad, when we signed Ahmad from Atalanta a year ago, he was one of the most sought-after, coveted, scouted players in the world. He was starting to break through. He had all this silk. He's about to be loaned out to a championship team. He's regression in a year's mad. We look at Mason Greenwood.
You overpaid for him, and that league shit.
Well, we didn't overpay for him.
You've got to take it with a pinch of salt when these players sign for, like Vlahovic, for example.
You don't. His ability was there because everybody was looking at him. He wasn't overpaid for. The club paid £15 million up front that could raise to £19 million, which then after that could raise up to about £37 million with a certain amount of appearances, goals, international appearances, and trophies. So if it all fails, it's £15 million for someone that would be scouted by everybody. I don't think that's the issue. The issue is more, you look at Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood, we all know how talented he is. He's starting to look like Marcus Rashford, shooting when he should pass, running into dead ends, not doing the right things.
Yeah, but there's a lot of reasons for that, Terry, right? Cavani and Cavani and Ronaldo barely passed to him. Yeah, all three of them want to be the glory boy. Rashford's the same. They all want to be the glory. Yeah, and you've got no cohesion in them front four. If Sancho plays, again, Sancho tries to run around 4 players instead of playing the simple pass. And that's not an individual player problem. Well, it is, but it's more of a team problem and a manager problem as well, because he needs to sit there and say, listen, I don't care if you like each other. I don't care if you're trying to be the main men. Yeah, we need to win football matches, and you all need to pass to each other.
And you
And
just
if you're not, I'm dropping you. I don't care who you are.
And you just absolutely like repeated my theory. This isn't a Rashford issue. It's a club issue. Rashford is, of course, the target because of his fame and everything else that surrounds him. Sancho's only been here a few months, and I see the same mistakes. The reason that people have more time for Greenwood and Sancho is they're not as long in the tooth. But I'm telling you now, if Greenwood continues doing what he's doing now for another 6 months, a year, you'll hear the same conversation. Sancho will go down the same route. We all do it. In the first 6 months of Pepe, first year of Pepe, people have more faith in him. The longer he's at your club not performing, the more people turn on him. And at the end of the day, for me, the reason why you look at Pepe as an isolated problem as he's not good enough is you've got other players in your team that perform better than him in that same system. At Man United, it's fucking everyone. It's every single one of them. And, you know, me and my brother were talking about it. Now, he don't support a team in the Premier League. He don't support a team in the top 2 tiers. He's just like, I don't get your... He just says, I don't get your fans. He says, all I see Man United fans do is focus on one player at a time. Your whole team, dog. And I'm like, it's true. So I'll look at it this way. Rashford, what he needs to do, I think he needs taken out the firing line. I think he needs to take a break from his charity work. Not because it isn't great what he does. I think he mentally needs to check out. I think he needs time away. I think he needs to be off social media. And I'm talking about, don't care what your promotional teams put out. I'm talking, don't sit there and read it. Don't read the newspapers. Get your head clear. Take a break. Cleanse yourself of it and come back. Because I think 80% of the reason he's so bad is everything that's going on. And it isn't that he shouldn't go back to his charity work. I'm not suggesting that it's you doing charity work equals you're a bad player. But this guy's taken on the prime minister.
Yeah, that's the problem, Terry. Everyone does charity work.
That takes up so much. Like I've got into like heated debates online before, and I try not to, but sometimes I've gone away from it, and for hours it's like I'm annoyed at the situation. Then I'm like, shit, should I have done that? Did I say the right thing? How's that gonna make me look? Imagine going head to head with the prime minister. The crap you get. There's no way Rashford that hasn't impacted him mentally, and I'm not saying that footballers shouldn't do these things. They shouldn't do charity work. But I feel like it's really consuming him. And I think so that he can be successful in his career and so he can keep being successful from a campaign point of view, I just think he might need a little break. I think he might just need a little break from it all. And as I'm saying,
he needs to be sold. He needs a fresh challenge, mate.
I don't think he needs to be sold. I hear you. I look at it from the point of view is I've got into like moments online and public things, which compared to Rashford's are minuscule. And I know how that's consumed me. So I can't even imagine what that pressure must feel like when you're taking on the government, when you're taking on Boris, when you've got loads of rivals.
This is the problem. Listen, Terry, it's good that he's doing that.
Huge.
Yeah, it's good that he's doing like what he wants to do. Good luck to him. Yeah, it's his life. But at the same time, if it is affecting your performances for a club that are paying you what 200-300 grand a week, that's an issue, mate. Yeah, that's an issue. And Man United have the right to criticize.
Mate, I totally get that. And I think I'm talking more about him doing it for himself, getting back on an even keel, and then, going out. And he's had things, look, he's had a lot of things go wrong in his personal life in this last year. Breaking up with his long-term partner, of course, suffering like the second most abused sports person in the world. And I'm not talking people say you were rubbish today, Rashford. It's when you break down the league table that shows it, when Twitter released it, it's being called any kind of pejorative, people swearing at you, being nasty, racism. No one gets more than Rashford. There's a lot of claims that people say Martial gets more, Pogba gets more. It's a fact they don't. And it's very easy for Twitter to work this out because you only have to run a diagnostic on names and words that are used and you work it out, right? You had all that go on as an example. He obviously had things like the penalty miss at the Euros, which do impact people. He has taken on this political stuff. He's got so much going on. I think what he just needs to do, and I reiterate again, I think he needs to take a break. I think he needs to step back. I think he needs to recalibrate because all human beings, irrespective of what you get paid, can burn themselves out. And this guy is essentially he's fighting a campaign for children, which some people do as a full-time job. And he's got
he chose to do that. He's a footballer.
I know he did. And I'm not.
Are you trying? Do you want me to be sorry for him?
I'm not asking no one to be sorry for him. I'm looking at solutions here, and I'm looking at
the solution is he sticks to football because that's what he's paid to do.
Yeah, but I think you can do both, and he's got to get the balance right. And I think he may have bitten off a little bit more than he can chew.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, what he's done for feeding families and stuff like that, well done to him. Yeah, but having said that, at the same time, if that's what your passion is and that's what you want to do, yeah, quit football, mate. Yeah, because at the end of the day, if I was a Man United fan, I wouldn't want him at the club. Yeah, I'd be like, get him out. Get him out. He's a problem. He's a problem. And the reason he's a problem is he's bringing too much unwarranted drama to the football club. Yeah, because every time he puts some tweet out and he goes against the government or he calls out the Boris and he calls out this person, all of a sudden, that's now a representation of Man United Football Club. Get rid. Yeah, I'd sit him down and I'd say to him, right, it's cool what you're doing, but you're here to play football, mate. Yeah, you can do whatever you want in your own life, but if it starts affecting your performances on the pitch, you're gone. Yeah, so either fix up or you're gone, mate. I'd have that conversation with him because at the end of the day, you're paying that kid a lot of money to play football, and his performances have been crap for a long, long time now.
A lot of people in the comment sections agreeing with that. Colin Toss here. Coin Toss. What is it? Colin says Terry wants everybody to rate Rashford because he does non-football things. I don't.
Exactly.
Great comment. Hang on, but I don't want everyone to rate him because he does that. I want.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't see the bit where it said Terry.
Yeah,
everybody rates Rashford for non-footballing.
See, and again, this is it. It's like I completely separate the two things. I don't need anybody to rate Rashford's football ability for me to rate his football ability. I've got my own mind. So, coin toss, like with all due respect, if that's your interpretation, cool. But I'm telling you, you're wrong.
I didn't hear the Terry
no, that's
bit.
cool, bruv. I don't feel like that. You're right. They're two different things. The same as abusing him. So I've spoke this week about the abuse he gets, and people are like, yeah, but he deserves criticism. Even writing that comment on a tweet where I'm talking about abuse is a stain on someone's personality. If it says that, of course he deserves criticism when he plays badly at football. That's the nature of the beast, and footballers agree with it. But we keep merging these things together. When someone says, I know he doesn't deserve abuse, but that but for me is like, no. I'm not trying to get the attention of criticism away from him. What should happen is, say you're in a group chat and everyone's going, Rashford bad today, terrible. Oh, he needs to be dropped. That's cool. If someone starts abusing him, you should all be calling that out. There is no need to abuse him.
That goes, I'm not trying to justify any of that, but that goes on every single level. Just because it's Marcus Rashford, don't make it any different to you getting abuse or me getting abuse or anybody else. But people have sat in this chat all the way through it, cussing me and cussing you, right? More so me, right? but nobody's sitting there calling them out because that's just the way of the world. Because most people, I'll give an example, right? If you're walking down the road and you see a geezer get jumped and the geezer's got a knife and he holds the fella up at knife point, you're not going to go and jump in, are you? Because you might get stabbed. Yeah, and that is unfortunately the way of the world. So when people are getting abused, people ain't going to stand up for them. Yeah, they're not going to. It's going to be a snowball effect where, oh, well, if he can abuse him, I'll abuse him. If he's abusing him, I'll abuse him. And eventually it snowballs and snowballs. And the bigger the following you have, the bigger the profile of person you are, and the more you're out there in the public eye, the bigger that abuse gets and the more it is, because it's millions of people rather than just a couple of hundred in here or a couple of thousand or whatever. And it's the same. And it's the same as your footballing term earlier. It's all relative.
I get that. I do get that. Dan W, thank you for that super chat, my friend. Dan W says, Terry, listen to yourself making excuses. It's not bad. Do you know what I like? Do you know what I realized? All right, bro. I kind of realized this last night when doing shows. People go, why do you think something's happening? You give a reason and people that don't like that reason call it an excuse. I think what Dan wants me just to do is go, I was wrong. Rashford is crap. But I don't believe that, so I'm not going to say it. So if you give a reason, people say you're making excuses. I know what you want, Dan W. You just want me to say he's crap, but I don't think he is crap. He's performing crap. His form is crap, but I don't think he is, and I'm not going to be bullied into saying that. Emmanuel, Dennis, and Tony over Vlahovic any day is what Yuri says here. Lee, I asked this with, I'll come back when Lee's here. Another media outlet says his agent is stopping him from coming, is what Hamza said in relation to Vlahovic. Come on, you Spurs. Wogard and Ben Scheidt spun by sixpence. That is what Josh Smith has got to say. Why'd he go to a team that lost to Sherwood Forest is what Josh has got to say here as well. If Abramovich and Sheikh Mansour thought like Terry, Man City and Chelsea would have stayed small clubs. All clubs should aim to win every year. What? Tarek, I'm sorry to say this, bro. I don't want to be rude. If you don't have the money that Roman and Sheikh Mansour had when there was no FFP, it doesn't matter about your ambition. You could never spend to get there. That's the point about level playing field. Look at Newcastle now. If Newcastle had their owners before FFP was in place, They could go out in this January window and spend £1 billion and it wouldn't matter. They can't do that. Therefore, it's going to take Newcastle longer than Chelsea and Man City to get to a competitive level within the league. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Surely you know that. Surely you know that, man. Stop mollycoddling Rashford, Terry. I'm not mollycoddling him. I'm giving you my honest opinion. I'm giving you my honest opinion on where I think he is.
It is going to take Newcastle longer, by the way, because they'll probably be relegated.
Well, but it is. But also FFP's in place. So this is the point. It's like if
yeah,
FFP,
but I think they've got. You know probably more about FFP than I do, but I'm pretty sure that for the next 3 years they can spend, but then they've got 2 years after that 3 years to try and marry the books up. And
they need to get
technically got 5 years.
They need to give, but it's about 300 million. But what people have got to remember is, again, the media lies, or they don't lie, they misconstrued what money you can spend means. So, for instance, net spend ain't real because it never takes into consideration your wage bill increase. Clubs essentially can afford to spend. They all set a target. Essentially, they'll have a percentage of their income that they will spend on player expenses, which covers transfer fees, wages, agent fees. If your wage bill increases by £100 million in a year, that's got to come from somewhere. So you might have a club that goes, "Oh my God, we've had net spend." They go, "Net spend in the last 2 years has been £50 million. That's great." Yeah, but your wage bill has increased by £150 million. So therefore, your club is spending on your squad £200 million more in the last 2 years than prior. So the net spend it's all bullshit. So that's why
if they sponsor the training ground from one of the other companies that the people own,
they
for
can
£200 million a year.
But there are rules to it, so it's not as easy as that anymore. That company needs to be a real business. It needs to be able to afford it. So, for instance, say they have a company that sponsors the training ground £500 million, but that company doesn't even turn over £100 million in a year. It won't pass the checks. It won't be allowed to do it.
Of course, yeah. Same as the Etihad with Man City. Like,
yeah, there's got to be like a level to it. But there was a super chat I wanted to run by you here that says, Lee, I asked this with lots of respect, but you say we should play. You say we should play the league to win. If we get Vlahovic, isn't that then at least a step in the right direction? I mean, he's highly rated for a reason. I would be actually excited.
Let me ask you a question, and then I'll answer it. How many times have you seen him play? So on that basis, the answer would be less than 5 times. So he's only highly rated by people that have never seen him play. When I did a video on him the other day, I asked, because I don't watch that league, Terry. I can't lie. The only things I've seen are clips of him, and yeah, he looks good. Yeah, he looks like a bit of a talent. Yeah, but at the same time, I've seen other talents, mate. Januzaj being one of them. Yeah. The next Ronaldo, right?
Mate, I hear you on that completely. Joshua Jack here, says if Rashford's a crap player, Lee, how come he outperformed talented Martial for the last 3 years? He hasn't.
Go and have a look at their goals and assists per minutes. Yeah, they've pretty much played the same amount of games, but if you actually look at their minutes played, Martial's outperformed him, mate. I checked it the other day when I was doing a show with Rants.
Yeah, minutes you might have done, but again, this is where it'll get nuanced. People will be like, "Yeah, but he weren't getting the minutes because his performances were." That's where it all becomes subjective for me. That's why I don't take that stance. I don't get involved in those arguments.
At the end of the day, if anyone thinks that Martial is a worse player than Rashford, then stop playing FIFA.
I look at it this way, though. I don't look at it again. I don't get down to that player versus player anymore.
Martial is technically levels clear of Rashford. He's got a better footballing brain than Rashford.
And again, that makes it worse. What I'm about to say. It's not about Rashford versus Martial. This talk has got to stop, in my opinion, and we have to focus on why they are both, based on their own ability, they're both underperforming. It's not about one versus the other. Both been shit recently. And
how many games has Martial played? It's like saying Pepe's been shit. He don't play.
But we've also got to look at why that. But even when he does play, and he had runs, again, we're getting.
Terry, these players.
We're coming near the end. We're near the end. I can't go into this, but I'm just saying, right? This isn't about Rashford or Martial.
No, it's not.
Every single attacker for 9 years has done this. There's a bigger issue at the club. It's the standards. So I hear you on that. True Blue says, "Where's my super chat?" I didn't see a super chat from you, bro. Unless it skipped through. I didn't see it at all. I star them all, and I didn't see your super chat, my brother. Oh, hang on. Sorry, it's here now. This goodwill campaign has nothing to do with his form. Sounds like GB News propaganda, typical Pierce, Karen, Morgan talk. United fouled their players. Listen, True Blues, I understand where you're coming from. And as I said, I think it's an accumulation of everything. It isn't the charity work he's doing. It's the heat that comes off the back of it. You couple that in with bad form, the racial abuse that he suffered. I know someone said he's back with his girlfriend now, but I read this morning that, there was a breakup there. Bad form that's ensued. He's had injuries. You throw that all together, and for a human being, that can be very draining on mentally. It can be draining on your confidence. I think he needs to take a break from. I would like the club to do for Rashford what Fergie did for Rooney years back. Take him out of the picture, send him away for 2 weeks, training camp somewhere in another part of the country or the world, get him out of the limelight, let him recoup, ask him to stay away from all stuff just to get himself straight and back in order and then come back. I agree with you. He shouldn't walk away from doing that kind of work. I'm talking about him. So listen to what I'm saying here, looking after himself and his mental health, because sometimes you have to be selfish and take care of your own self before thinking about anybody else. Because if you're not right, you're not helping anybody in any capacity. But I do understand your super chat there. Listen, everybody that has tuned in to a sabbatical, it's a 2-week break. I wouldn't call it a sabbatical, but I hear you.
What if he comes back and he's still the same? Then what?
Then we'll have a chat about it. But I'm just saying that would be my suggestion right now. And if that happens, then we'll see. But he'll come good again. I'm sure that he will. He's too young not to. I'm not. Maybe. Listen, viewers, thank you very much for tuning in today. Make sure you go and check this out. You're going to run out of time very, very soon to enter the Second Chance Fantasy Football season. I've started a mini league. All the links for that are below in the description below. But go and get yourself signed up to that right now. When you click the register button, you'll get a free entry ticket, courtesy of the link below. Get yourself, you got 3 days to get your team ready. My team is now done. My team is now picked. And in fact, what I'll even do, I'll actually show you my team. I've got to change my team up a little bit, actually. I've got to change my team up a little bit here. I'll get it up on the screen because I haven't picked it fully. I've kind of half done it. There's a few players that are red, but that's my team for the first game week. I'm going to bit of a Dennis up front, a little bit of Antonio is going to be there. I've got to check on a few availabilities of players like Luca Digne. If he's in the Aston Villa team this weekend, I might pick him. I might take him out. But that's my team there. There's over 9,000, 10,000 people have entered. So go and get yourself signed up right now after the show, people. It's free to enter, and you can win your share of £100,000. I'm going to say this with respect. Ooh. Why I play the Premier League's version, give them all the advertising they get through their marketing, making them money where you get nothing. Play fan teams. If you're any good, you might actually win some proper cash. So go and get yourself signed up now, people. All the links are below. My mini league's also in that link as well. So go and sign up to my mini league. You can win £100 this weekend, courtesy of me. Go get signed up now. Lee, thank you as ever for coming on, mate. I really appreciate it, bro.
Thank you, mate. I'll take
everyone who's tuned in, take it. And we'll see you at 6:30. We're live for the Bet Victor Top 6 show. It's going to be powerful. We're talking Jurgen Klopp and the non-investigation. There's some Arsenal fans that want to go in. Liverpool fans coming on to have their say. So tune in, my people. Take care.